translated, it's no, but then steam cake is referred to as idli also, as well as puttu. So,
my last question, sir.
Yeah, please. I'm happy to answer.
Yes, Anglo Indian basically is more non-vegetarian or vegetarian, sir?
Good question. Your answer is it's largely non-vegetarian. It is largely non. In fact, I am one who has been, since I was also, part of the Legislative Assembly twice, representing the Anglo Indian community, so I meet the length and breadth of the community. So one of the things I do tell people is, we also need to have an equal amount of vegetarian food vis-a-vis of the non-vegetarian. It is the staple food, but then I always tell them there has to be a balance. So today we look at the modern Anglo Indian. They're trying to balance between
this particular hotel, Radisson Blu Hotel, GRT Chennai, Mr. Chef Bridget White. And yes, we have a very new addition, family member to our hotel. It's been a month since Chef George Varki have joined us. So to give one-line introduction about Chef George Varki, he has an overall kitchen experience of 35 years, working for big brands like Shangri-La, Intercontinental, Hilton, Oberoi, Taj, and many other leading hotel group. So he has worked more than 15 plus years outside the country, most of the time in Gulf countries. So as you all are excited, would like to know the spark, like how did this journey start and move on? I request our Senior General Manager, Mr. Chef Bridget White, to please come forward and address the gathering.
Evening, everybody. First and foremost, a big thank you to all of you all for having made this evening. The idea of bringing about this pop-up restaurant came in a couple of months back from our entire team, and the main person behind it was Mr. Vikram Kota, our COO. He was instrumental in initially thinking about it, and then we got the idea of involving Dr. Oscar Nigli, and we have a small presentation which we have to show you how it all started and how it all concludes to this particular day what we have. Anglo Indian cuisine is a disappearing cuisine. We've seen it in the past. We don't see it now anymore. People have forgotten the bygone the bygone days of the Anglo Indian cuisine. So we wanted to bring it back and give it a little light. So this is one idea what we had in bringing the Anglo Indian cuisine. And nobody else than we got the master chef, that is Bridget Kumar from Bangalore. She has written about 7 books and has the expertise on that particular field. And we brought her all the way from Bangalore, brought her here, sat with our team for entire things. But before this, we had a curtain raiser at the Amir Mahal, and we had all the dignitaries.
Masterclass and a training session with the chefs on cuisine that is so dear to me. As you know, Anglo Indian cuisine is the delicious result of all the foreign invasions in India, where we have added exotic Indian touch to their bland cuisine. And this cuisine came into existence more than 200 years ago and slowly evolved over time to what it is today. But over the years, many old dishes that were cooked in our grandmother's days are slowly getting extinct. So with that in mind, I decided to do my best to preserve this cuisine. Grandma's country captain chicken, we have the railway mutton curries, we have some really good prawn temperados, which is a legacy of the Portuguese, and some dishes that are very close to our community, which is the saffron coconut rice, mutton or lamb minced ball curry, and a special relish which only Anglo Indians make, which is known as a devil chutney. And then we have some pork dishes, which are pork roasts and pork devil fries. We have the chicken roast. So, the menu we have curated is like a cyclic menu, which we would be changing it along the way.
Outset, before I even start, I must say that this whole concept of having an Anglo Indian food festival, as he said, rightly said, started from GRT, and I must really congratulate the chairman and the GRT group, the CEO, who is a visionary by himself, Mr. Natarajan, and of course the CEO, Mr. Vikram Kota, and the wonderful team they have. They were able to think of something which nobody can see. The last time I saw an Anglo Indian restaurant was when I was in Australia. That was in one part of Sydney, and I saw another one in Brisbane, which was, of course, like all Indian restaurants, they're far from really authentic Indian food. When it's done in India, it's so beautiful, it's so authentic. And so that is actually the whole crux of this. So I'm really happy that GRT Group of Hotels has been thinking of this Anglo Indian cuisine, because the cuisine that is developed in the British Raj. And he even said it's a dying cuisine. I definitely won't agree with him as the National Vice President of the Anglo Indian Association. I definitely won't say it's a dying cuisine. Neither would Bridget agree with me on that. It's very much, except it's not commercialized. The British Raj, and of course all of you must have heard of this Mulligatawny soup, which is nothing but a pepper water. But the word Mulligatawny became Mulligatawny because the British couldn't pronounce the word Tani. So that's how it came, and of course it actually, except what is the difference between, you ask, what is the difference between rasam and this Mulligatawny soup? It is just that the quantum of spices used are much less here, and of course sometimes I was talking about we even add the seasoning with onions. So those little issues, and of course the most important thing, the lasting impact was chutney, and that's why I think rightly they've given the name Ministry of Chutneys, because chutney is being the watchword. So therefore, Anglo Indian cooking, what is it? It's nothing but the delicious result of the British Raj in India. So in those days, the Britishers had what was called cooks. They didn't call them cooks, they called them kansamas. And these kansamas were very much Indian, who later on began to integrate Indian food with British food. And that was born the Anglo Indian cuisine. That's how the various spices came in, which of course tempered spices, they say, with a lot of cumin, red chilies, and all the roast came in. And of course, like the Mangalorean and the East Indian cooking, there are certain similarities, if you notice, between Anglo Indian cooking and that of the East Indian and Mangalorean cooking.
Lost along the way. I don't mind answering any questions if you like.